Susan Keller-Mathers, an assistant professor here at Creative Studies. And I want to talk a little bit about my areas of interest. This one? Can I do it this way?
You can.
Okay, I'll do it the old-fashioned way with the finger. I'm particularly interested in scholarly inquiry into creative teaching and learning. It's really the big umbrella term for me, and it's something I've always been interested in, and throughout my career as both an elementary teacher of talent, as well as in higher ed, I'm particularly curious about and interested in potential actualized, in the frameworks in which we can provide effective teaching and learning, curricular frameworks, and the approaches, the teaching and training approaches. I'm also interested in the leadership factor and the leader that helps us teach and learn more creatively. So I'll go over those three areas just briefly and take a look at some of what I'm working on and other areas of interest for people who are thinking about thesis. The first is the advocating for creative education, and this has to do with what's occurring now, what are some of the best practices in the field of creativity and in other fields that relate to the effective teaching and learning practices. A lot is happening with 21st century skills, and also how how we can address this in the future and what kind of skills we'll need. Because I truly believe that what we're doing in the field of creativity is becoming more and more essential to aspects of teaching and learning. The other area is how creativity manifests itself. And I've been involved in impact studies and creative problem solving, look at the efficacy of creative problem solving, and also of certain populations. For example, my dissertation work was a qualitative study of women of extraordinary creative accomplishment. So what does their journey look like to creativity? And I'm currently involved with other endeavors that are pretty exciting and just beginning, that have to do with different populations, English language learners in the primary grades, as well as I have a couple thesis going on, a couple thesis students working on Head Start, working with Head Start students and their parents and guardians, as well as at-risk teenagers. So to look at how do different populations manifest their creativity? Are there differences, similarities, and what can we do to nurture and exploit those creative potentials that we know are there? Curriculum is an area that I have quite a few projects going on, and scholarly inquiry. Again, curricular approaches for teaching creativity, creative problem solving, and integrating creativity into content areas. As Mary talked about, the Torrance incubation model of teaching and learning, we've been doing a lot of work with that, a lot of work with our students to develop materials, to test out materials, and we currently have a research project that we're formulating that has to do with, in addition to a colleague in Texas, looking at young primary English language learners and course subject training and integrating creativity into their training in enrichment curriculum for core subjects. What we're looking at is, and what we believe, of course, is that creativity will make a difference in the practices of teachers in their pedagogy, and it also will assist with higher levels of learning, acquisition of expertise in concert with creative learning, that those things will help with creative productivity. So that's a very, very exciting area. The other area that I've been looking at and started really toying around with when Mary and Gerard and Marie started to look at the thinking skills model, I recognized right away that was going to have major contributions to teaching and learning. Because when you can identify thinking skills, people, particularly teachers and other educators, can then begin to look at those sets of dispositions and skills in other areas, and you're free to then use the framework and pull in from other areas. So developed a scope and sequence that's currently being utilized, developed further, and tested for kindergarten through 12th grade, using the thinking skills model for a creative thinking framework. And that's pretty exciting, and been working on that for a couple years. I'm also particularly interested in old age creativity, and have not had an opportunity to look in that direction, but it certainly is something that I'm interested in. The other area is around leadership, and I enjoy working with and pondering how might leaders of training and teaching be better prepared for their own nurturing of their creative capacities, as well as effectively being a change leader and a creative leader in their environment. I've been working with one of our alum, Tony Pagliarelli, in Pennsylvania. We've done some training with administrators, and we've presented before the Pennsylvania State Board of Education on the need for creativity in the standards and in the schools. And we're currently working with some districts to formulate some bigger projects in which we could use the Torrance incubation model to integrate creativity into teacher training and curriculum for students, as well as do work with principals and other leaders in educational settings. So that are some of the areas that I'm most interested in, although, as Mary said, there's a lot of areas that really intrigue me, but it all comes under the umbrella of creative teaching and learning.